Welcome to the Explainer. So, what if I told you that the cash sitting right there in your physical wallet is actually losing its value every single second you hold onto it? I know, it sounds a little crazy, but it's the absolute truth of our modern economy. But what if there was this secret digital asset created by a literal internet ghost that could totally shield you from this financial drain? Today, we are going on an amazing journey. We're going to look at the birth of digital gold, and then we'll break down a masterclass tactic used by pro investors called the war chest strategy. By the time we wrap up this explainer, the way you look at your own wealth, it's going to change forever.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just think about your everyday life for a second. Why does literally everything, from your groceries to your rent, just keep getting more expensive year after year? A lot of us just assume, well, that's the cost of progress, or maybe things are just inherently getting better. But if you look at the fundamental economics, that is not the case at all. The items aren't getting more valuable. Your currency is actually dying. Its purchasing power is just plummeting. And this silent decline, it's no accident. It is directly tied to the plumbing of our traditional banking system. To really grasp the solution, we first need to expose the massive flaw in the system we're using right now.
And this brings us to a pretty dark reality about how your money is actually handled. It's called fractional reserve banking. Look, when you deposit $1,000 into your local bank, you probably picture it sitting safe and sound inside a giant steel vault with your name on it, right? Yeah, completely wrong. The bank instantly turns around and lends out 90% of your money to other people, corporations, or governments. They only keep a tiny fraction, usually just around 10%, on reserve. This creates an incredibly dangerous open loop. Because you gotta ask yourself a terrifying question. What happens if everyone decides to go to the bank and withdraw their cash on the exact same day? The money simply is not there. Now, this isn't just some abstract economic theory. It has massive real-world consequences. Back in 2008, that exact glitch in the system caused the housing market to completely crash and giant financial institutions literally collapsed overnight. It was sheer global panic. And how do governments try to fix it? Well, they just printed trillions of new dollars out of thin air to bail out those failing banks. But here's the catch. When you print trillions of new dollars, the money that's already sitting in your pocket instantly becomes worthless. That is the hidden tax of inflation. Out of all that chaos, in 2009, this mysterious figure going by the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto dropped a brilliant 9-page paper on the internet. He proposed a wild radical idea, a decentralized currency, one that belongs to the people, controlled by no king, no president, and no central bank. And just like that, Bitcoin was born.
Satoshi's entire solution basically boils down to one incredibly important number: 21 million. You see, he didn't just write some clever computer code. He completely revolutionized the psychology of financial scarcity. He hard-coded this unbreakable mathematical rule right into the Bitcoin network. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. Ever. No government can suddenly decide to just print more to fund a war, and no central bank can inflate it away to cover their bad debts. If you own just one Bitcoin, you mathematically own 1/21 millionth of the entire global supply. It is absolute, undeniable scarcity. But naturally, this brings up a huge question, one you're probably already asking yourself. If there's no central bank, no CEO, and no physical vault with armed guards, what is stopping some clever hacker from just sneaking into this digital notebook, tweaking the numbers, and stealing billions of dollars? It's a completely fair concern. So hang on to that thought for the next 60 seconds, because the genius mechanism that locks down this entire network makes it totally unstoppable. It is, honestly, a masterpiece of modern engineering.
Here's exactly how we solved that security problem without needing a bank. Instead of one single centralized database that's easy to hack or corrupt, Satoshi used a blockchain. So step 1, your transaction gets written into a transparent digital notebook. Step 2, copies of this exact notebook are instantly blasted out and constantly synced up with millions of independent computers, which we call nodes, running all over the planet. Step 3, if a hacker wants to fake a transaction and steal your funds, they can't just breach one server. No, they would have to simultaneously hack at least 51% of all those millions of computers globally at the exact same millisecond. It is mathematically and financially impossible. And that right there is the ultimate power of true decentralization.
Once you really grasp just how secure this is, you start to see why it's fundamentally superior to anything we've ever used before. I mean, physical gold has been our go-to store of value for thousands of years because it's rare, right? But it has some massive flaws. Try packing up $10 million worth of physical gold bars and moving them across an international border today. You are going to get stopped, aggressively questioned, and heavily taxed. It is so slow and honestly just a huge hassle.
Contrast that with digital gold. With Bitcoin, you can move $1 billion across the globe in 10 minutes, and the network fee's usually less than $2. You don't have to ask a bank manager for permission. And the coolest part? It can be divided up into 100 million smaller pieces called Satoshis, meaning literally anyone can afford to participate.
All right, moving into our next section, the war chest strategy, securing wealth without emotion. So, knowing all about digital gold is totally useless if you don't actually know how to protect your wealth when the market gets crazy. See, professional investors secure their digital gold when those wild, euphoric bull markets start ripping upwards, and they do it by completely removing fear and greed from the equation. When prices are skyrocketing, human psychology screams at you to hold on forever, hoping you'll just get richer and richer. But pros, they don't guess. They use a strict, predetermined grid selling system. When the market hits a pre-planned milestone, you automatically sell exactly a 20% slice of your volatile crypto into a stablecoin, something like USDT or USDC. These are digital currencies pegged directly to the US dollar, so their value doesn't bounce around. If the price keeps climbing, you just systematically sell another 20% at the next level. You are literally locking in your success before the madness turns into a crash.
Let's walk through the exact step-by-step process of building this financial war chest. First, like we just talked about, you sell your volatile crypto into pegged stablecoins during the bull market. But step 2 is absolutely vital. You have to move those funds entirely off the cryptocurrency exchange. If you leave it there, you don't truly own it. Step 3, you lock those digital dollars offline into a super secure cold storage hardware wallet. By doing this, you avoid triggering massive security flags or heavy immediate tax events that can pop up if you try to aggressively cash out to a traditional bank account. Plus, you are 100% shielded from sudden exchange bankruptcies or platform failures. And finally, step 4, you wait patiently. While the rest of the world is panic selling during a brutal crypto winter, you are sitting there, totally stress-free, on a mountain of stable cash, waiting to buy back your favorite assets at a massive 90% discount.
But you know, all this leaves us with one incredibly exciting, mind-bending question. What if those locked digital dollars didn't just have to sit there gathering virtual dust? What if your stablecoins could actually grow, automatically compounding while you patiently wait for the next market cycle to kick off? You really don't have to just hold your assets and pray. So, in our next explainer, we're going to dive deep into the world of automated passive wealth and decentralized finance staking. I'm going to show you exactly how to put your crypto to work, earning high-yield interest that literally blows traditional banking out of the water. Trust me, you will not want to miss it. Until then, stay focused, keep learning, and I will catch you in the next explainer.